Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Thursday, February 6, 2025. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with AEW Dynamite broadcast live last night on TBS and Max from the Gateway Center Arena in College Park, Georgia. In the main event, Ricochet beat Swerve Strickland, then attacked him and Prince Nana after the match. Ricochet had also attacked Strickland with a steel chair before the match even began.
Established in Ring of Honor that Swerve has worn for some of his biggest matches here. But right now, Ricochet, the blind side shot the chair into the spine of Swerve Strickland.
Yeah, right into that robe, the back of that robe. There's a lot of legacy with Prince Nana in that robe. But man, right now, that's a dangerous man with that steel chair and Ricochet.
You're right, Taz. And here's a guy who took a scissors and punctured the head of another man. It shouldn't surprise you that he would start out with a chair from behind.
The show's opening featured an impromptu ringside brawl involving FTR and Adam Copeland with Jay White against the Death Riders. During an in-ring promo, MJF provoked Dustin Rhodes by bringing up his brother Cody, leading to a pull-apart brawl in which MJF left Rhodes laying.
You know what's so sad about the whole thing? Is that after all that hard work and sacrifice, now you live in the shadow of your little baby bro.
Yeah, just knew it was a matter of time. I think MJF knew it.
Security close at hand, trying to separate these two athletes.
Another promo segment saw Powerhouse Hobbs jump Big Bill with the Outrunners, helping Hobbs take on the entire Learning Tree faction. In other results, Toni Storm defeated Queen Aminata, Will Ospreay pinned Mark Davis, and Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher topped the Hounds of Hell. In legal news, WWE has reached a settlement in a lawsuit filed last September by a fan, according to Mike Johnson. The United States District Court for the District of Connecticut has announced the settlement in the case brought by Richard Bryant, which alleges hearing loss and psychological harm caused by the pyrotechnics at a WWE event. Bryant has stated through his attorney that his injuries included traumatic rupture of his right eardrum, bilateral tinnitus, and hearing loss in his right ear. The lawsuit also indicates that he has incurred and is likely to incur future expenses related to medical treatment. Although the details of the settlement are not known, Bryant's lawsuit sought $15,000 in damages. And finally, in ratings news, Tuesday's edition of NXT drew 766,000 viewers to the CW network, according to Programming Insider. That's down more than 7% from last week's audience of 822,000. Although the program's 18 to 49-year-old demographic rating was a .20, up from last week's rating of .19. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.